Venmo?
Yes.
It's kind of like that, but with like a better, like, more options and like a remind system.
Oh, okay. So I would do something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
gotta do like this.
Let's see what else we can do here. Who else? Anyone else have, additions that they wanna tell me
Are
about?
we working on our projects today?
What?
Are we working on?
One of the things is what we're gonna do is we're working on projects, we're gonna go over a bit of cloud computing with you, give the assignment for the next one, and we're having from New York City, from New York, Wix coming down to give us a presentation on Wix and give us a code right today, and give us a code in which we can use all their premium products. Free, and get a domain name for a year, free.
Wow.
So, and they're especially coming, you know,
What time are they coming in?
should be around 7. She told me, she just sent me an email that she's on campus already. Pretty cool, isn't it? I'm excited. So, and it's just for our classes, you know, so she's gonna give everybody a code and then you could use it. So we can think about it. Oh, and then another thing, remind me to ask her, they're gonna start doing what they call a Wix certificate for web design. So if you submit your website that you do for this class, to them, you'll get a certificate from Wix that you're qualified using all their product. So in this case, that's why I want everybody, even though we're doing it as a group project, everybody do a Wix for your project, and then you can have different phases of what kind of the emphasis of what you do, and then you can have links to each of everybody in your group. So then everybody can then submit their website, and you can get certified. So it's nice already on your resume, besides just taking this class, hey, I'm certified in a Wix. So let's, remind me to tell her that. What else? Are we setting up already? We got- Okay, now do you see me, or am I, or do we need a different bird over there? And here?
No, I can see it.
Okay, good. All right. And then let me just log in.
Okay.
So. What else? So what else have we done? What are the other updates? Anything? And then, so Rachel, in your group, what have you done? What are the updates you need to tell me?
So we wanted to like differentiate ours was kind of similar to like Yokoma's last week about how we wanted to like offer like deals and like reviews of restaurants, but we updated it so that like through our app, it's almost like an off-campus meal plan where you can like see which restaurants are participating and like read the reviews from other college students, and then you can like you'll be able to add funds to your like through the app, so then when you go to those restaurants, you just like scan the app as payment. So
Sounds
it's
good.
an off-campus meal plan.
I like it. Great. And Kayla, how are you doing? We missed you.
I joined in, yeah, we just decided that today and it's stuff for like how the app is gonna work.
Okay.
Should I turn on the laptop video?
Yeah, well, I need yeah, you can one second, so that, maybe just even try to get this one going too. This is other user. See if we can get it. Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah, when somebody needs to show your laptop.
Okay. Okay.
You know, something I saw we were used, and I tell you, I actually you can answer me? You receive a message, and there's no nothing but the information. Friday, and I changed for the same time, and it's, you guys what happened. I'm not good with the listening.
What's up? How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Okay.
Well, I can also give a for today about legal aid.
It should be. Just get your, notes from people in your class, okay? Thanks for letting me know in advance. Okay, what do I need? Yeah, so let me know that, oh, I wanted to let you know too is, there's a, there's a, remember I talked about like there's a security, it's like SACA, they're trying to have it. It's a international association. And, they wanted a student for, I recommend for a scholarship, and I wanted to recommend you. And they said you have to be a junior. So, but instead, they said they would allow you for a year to attend all their events free.
Really?
Yeah, so I said, so, I put that in, so I'm gonna try with you and maybe another couple of students.
Okay.
I'm asking to recommend them and get a year of attending all their events.
They have a lot of events.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So, streaming. Can you do me a favor, put today's date, and what we're gonna cover. Put your name tags up, folks. We can start. Yeah. You know what, just do me a favor, check in my computer bag and see in one of the little pockets there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put some down here. Rachel, you wanna do let's do, Cynthia, you wanna do a roll? Or, Rachel, you wanna do a roll? Put a roll, the date. And then, names,
Should I turn off my
the video release.
for your laptop?
Yeah.
Do you want just the laptop screens?
And how does it work on the other one?
I think it just lets the display this.
Oh, what, can we switch?
You can do like some TV show your laptop, like this one can show your laptop and that one can show the computer. You have to do these girls.
Okay, the only thing I may want to do is start my computer. Broadcast. So can you do me a favor and put, besides the date, put that we're gonna do cloud computing? And put it underneath that, advantages and disadvantages. I'm gonna start my broadcast. Make sure that works. Yep, yeah, it's right.
One on the attendance sheet.
First, put yourself as number one and then number it first, last, phone, and then do update, project. Yes, no. And we'll look at that. Well, we got a packed night tonight. Okay, let's see if I have my share. Am I starting my broadcast? Why is my broadcast not starting?
You need to share it first, just to-
Yeah, I did. Make sure. I don't need to, okay, share, now I want to, start that. Okay, good. I love it when it works, right? Now we're seeing everything, don't you love it when it works? Okay, I have my events, and then, advantage is cloud computing, and then can you put in here, projects, and then put after that, web design and Wix guest speaker. And we'll talk about that, and then, and then for homework, we have to set up homework as well. So we're broadcasting, and then you'll check on, somebody wanna check on the psycho, the steam in that psycho and see if we're broadcasting? Let me know. Remember, class participation counts here. So, what else do we need? Oh, we need the courses. Courses. Okay.
It works.
That going around, Rachel?
Somebody says it works.
What?
Somebody said it works, the broadcast.
It does? Who said works?
2 people just said it works.
Okay, it works? Can you hear me on the broadcast? Perfect. We always need a what? Check, recheck, and how many other times check, huh? It's like, we gotta do that all the time. Check, recheck, and check. Okay, let me do here. Let's open, enter my passcode. 6 Okay, does everybody have your name tags out? I don't see everybody's. We're gonna have a guest speaker, so it'll be good. Let's put up name tags so we have everybody. Okay, questions before we begin? Okay. Can you do also another one for me, Alex, be so kind, and put on the other side homework. And I'm gonna go to BTE 210 KY and welcome everybody here officially. We'll have walk-ins later on. What do we have today? Today I wanna do some housekeeping. We're gonna talk about cloud computing. I want you to figure out what is the definition of cloud computing, what are the advantages and disadvantages, where does it work well, what are some of, and think about, next exam, that would be a good, maybe open-ended question about cloud computing, right? Hint. We'll talk about the projects, and then what we have scheduled, as I talked about before, in terms of your project, I want everyone to be doing a website along with, if it works out, an app design. One of the nicest, I think, in terms of design work is a company called Wix, W-I-X. Sometimes you see them on commercials. Anyone ever use it? So it's Wix. We're having representatives for Wix come down from New York. She's already here, she told me on campus. And she'll be giving us a code that we can use, what they're kind of giving to our classes as premium versions. We'll be able to use premium versions, we'll be able to use create our own domain name, get it for free. And as I mentioned before, what they'll be able to do is they're starting a certificate program. So what they're allowing us to do in this class is the website that you create for this class, you'll be able to submit to Wix and get a certificate that you know Wix and Wix Design. Great to add to your resume, to your portfolio. Remember what I wanted to tell you is I wanted this project you take with you, plus you're taking website design. So in terms of our project, even though we're having an overall project where we're having a group project with website design, what I want from you also is each of you design a website based on your project. So it can be a different focus, and then you can have, since we're all going to get our own domain names, you can then have links to other people in your group. And then when you present, then you'll have it as full. So many times when we're talking about the group, we wanted to break it down into phases. You can give an overall, one website can be overall, and then it can be specifics. And also, if you see a number of companies, when we talk about search engine optimization, a lot of times it's good to have many URLs, many different domain names for the same company. So basically when they're searching, we'll be doing it. And think about questions, but remind me to do it. She'll be giving a code to us tonight that we can use for this class, and we can use it for a year. The only thing that you need to do is you have to put in a credit card, but when you go through with the code, it'll be 0, but just remember to cancel it before the year's end. So some of you may say, hey, this is enough for me at the end of the semester. Others, what I wanted you to do is I said, hey, take this and grow with it. You can use it up to a year. Then you can even transfer the domain name to someone, less expensive or whatever you want to do. Or you can say, hey, I had enough, I'm having now a new idea. But we are able to use, I want to be able really to pick her brain to the, you know how I love to pick people's brain. I want to pick her brain to be able to teach us all that we can know about the ins and outs of Wix that we can't pick up on our own. Plus, we're going to have VIP support, so we'll be able to have, you'll be able to use their support line, I think it's 24/7. Can't get better than that. And the cost for us? You know I'm cheap. Okay, so that but it's just wonderful. So why are they doing this? Probably. What's in it for Wix? Let's think about a business model. Right? They're a company. They're not just doing it for the generosity of, hey, they like me so much, right? Besides that, I have a charming personality. But what? Promotion in what? That if we start at the university level, when you go out and do your own startups or you go out to another company, you know that well. So you'll promote it. Just like you know it well, so what are you going to recommend for somebody to use? In your own company or a company that you're going to work with. So start out at that grassroots, right? They're taking up their support team. They're taking up their resources. They're sending out people from New York. I met during spring break somebody from California and New York. Both the people came to me to stay with me. So it's perfect. Okay, so let's do some. Before she gets here, let's then do some housekeeping, and then we'll go through some opportunities. So the first thing, let's talk about assignments, that everybody's clear on assignments. So go to Blackboard, go to your regular section, go to assignments, and you always have to give me feedback, right? Last time we did what? Cloud computing. We'll go over what cloud computing is. The next topic I want is TG4. TG stands for what? Tech Guide. I'm going to edit the test options to make sure everything's correct. I have Tech Guide 4. It's artificial intelligence, AI, which is, of course, is now going to be in every product almost. It's like if you're gonna be a startup, if you don't say you're using AI, right, and machine learning, it's like, hey, you're not with it, even though most people don't even know what they're talking about when they say AI and machine learning, but you will. And now I'm gonna say, I'm gonna open up the test, I'm gonna make it available, and let me see, what happens when I add it, I'm gonna do it this time, I'm gonna add a new announcement. So tell me, give me feedback later on if I should keep on adding new announcements. So we know every week we're adding a new test, new quiz, number of attempts, I'll leave it at 2. And what else do I need to do? I need to check down here, everything submitted, feedback, show incorrect answers, right? And submit, and what do you have to tell me? What? It's there, perfect.
And then there's an announcement on the front that says it's made available.
Okay, is that useful? For now on, tell me, you know what I mean, we have all these options, but you know anyways, every week, basically what we're gonna do is, every week, we'll have another quiz, so, till, you know, the final week when you're doing the presentation. Okay, we're finished with that. Next is, what I wanna do, I wanna go to course documents. I wanna do PowerPoint, and I want to do cloud. That's one. And I want to open it. Along with, once this is opening up, what I'd like you to do is, you have here in the cloud computing, I'm gonna enable editing if I need to. But what I'd like to do is go back to courses with me. And I think I may want, for the final, that would be a good area to do an open-ended questions with about cloud computing. And let's go to the very end here. And one is these questions here of what is cloud computing? And what are the most popular vendors in the cloud? Everybody understand my question? What's my question? Yeah.
Which companies are offering this cloud space?
Amazing, which companies are doing quite well in getting cloud computing services out to the community, out to the world? Which ones would you say? Amazon is one, and what are they called here? I need some pens here.
Amazon Web Services.
Amazon Web Services, and what's the acronym for that? AWS, good. So we got AWS for Amazon Web Services, and what's the other one? Who else is getting up to speed here? Who are other big vendors? Microsoft, and what is Microsoft? So we got Amazon here. And what's the other one? Microsoft, and what's their web services called? Anybody know? Azure. Azure, A-Z-U-R-E. And now I want to ask you, what is cloud computing? And if I even think about cloud computing, let's talk about the history of computing. Basically, what do I need in computing? I need a couple of resources. I need those resources. I need computing power. I need storage, come on in. I need storage. And what else do I need? And I need database. So traditionally, when we think about it, what companies, and remember we talked about the word enterprises? When enterprises needed computing power, needed storage, needed to put on applications, what did they usually do? Large enterprises is they had what we call a data center. And what's a data center? A data center, you can think about it as a room where I have a number of computers that can maybe serve or host other computers. I can have it on the World Wide Web. I can then think about this lab. This lab, then each of these computers here in front of you have software loaded onto these computers, right? And in a traditional data center, what we're able to do is whenever there was a new operating system or new software revision, what did we have to do here in the lab? What did the IT center here in the School of Business have to do for us in the lab here? What did they install for us here? Any application? What application? Why did we originally come to this lab? NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is what? Software, right? An application that they have to download. So what did they have to do? They had to download this to each machine. And you remember what we had everybody sign in? So they had to download to each machine. And did that take resources? Did they do it right? First time? No. Did they do it right, Alex?
No.
No, right? Did they do it right the second time? No. Maybe the third time? Maybe, right? And then remember when we were doing NinjaTrader, some of you had to change machines? Right? Or I said what? Share with the other people? We had to get did they know NinjaTrader? No. Did they have a clue? No. Did they even know once they got it up and running? Did they even know how to run a strategy? No. So this was traditionally the area in which you had to be. So if we look at it, when you think of Amazon Web Services, and let me just play it on the other machine here. And can you change this for me, Alex? So we can do this. So I'm in. Just switch to this machine, or can we do both? Or let's switch. Yeah. So we see it.
Whether you're working in retail or real estate, with financial data or photos, your business depends on applications that run reliably and securely at a cost that scales with your needs. Amazon Web Services provides a complete set of cloud computing services accessed via the internet to help you build and run those applications. At AWS, we provide compute, storage, and database services which enable your organization to quickly provision the IT resources it needs.
Okay. What did they say? That it's going to be an on-demand service that will provision, put this in your notes, provision resources. So we got to figure out, what does precision mean? What does provision mean? Hamza, do you have a clue? What does provision mean? I have to provision resources. So let's say we were going to be a startup, and we're now going to say we're going to do calculations, we're going to do an e-commerce site, and we have to figure out what? How many users are we going to end up having? And I have to provision a number of computers there. What does provision mean? Yes.
Kind of like supplying.
I have to basically say, which ones am I going to attribute to my project? So do we need 3 servers? Do I need so much RAM? Remember we talked about RAM? So much storage space? I have to allow in my traditional data center, I have to do it. So if I buy, let's say we were going to be doing it together, right? And I was going to buy machines. We have to put the outlay of capital to those machines. In cloud computing environment will we have to buy those machines? Everybody understand my question? Maddie, what's my question? You wanted somebody to help you? So who can help her? What's my question?
In cloud computing, would you have to buy the machine?
Would we? Would we have to buy the machines? No, we don't have to buy the machines. Basically, on demand, we say, hey, we need 3 computers. And I need to have, in each computer, I need to have a certain amount of RAM. I have to have 5 terabytes, 10 terabytes, 20 terabytes. Now,
Not now.
I can say whenever I want to do that. So this is the key here, that in what I'm wanting to do.
Without significant capital investment. Pretty much everything you would want to do in a traditional data center is available with AWS. But all our services are available on a pay-as-you-go basis with no upfront capital expense.
So, including your
Instead,
notes here,
you'll find highly durable
on
storage
pay
services,
as you go.
low latency databases, and a suite of application development tools which you'll only pay for as you're using them.
What is it similar to? What about your electric bill? Is it as you go? How much you use as you do it?
Yeah.
It's similar when you think about it as electricity. It's similar as my utilities. Sometimes it's like a basis, but if I don't turn on the air conditioner, you know how hot it gets, right? Starting even soon, right? If I don't use it, or if I need more demand, I can do that.
Since AWS has hundreds of thousands of customers across 190 countries, you'll also benefit from our economies of scale, delivering powerful resources at a low operational cost.
So who's my economics major? Who's taking economics? Anybody in terms of economics and finance? What does economies of scale mean?
I think it's the idea that as you grow, your costs reduce, average costs reduce.
Okay, what else does economies of scale do? For somebody like Amazon, what are we doing? Are we sharing these computers alone? Millions of people then share it, so the costs will come down. So when you think about it, those costs will come down.
Capacity planning becomes easier too. In a traditional data center, launching a new application can be a bit of a gamble. Provision too many servers, and you could end up wasting money and time. Provision too few, and your customers might not have the best experience.
So if I'm going to be hosting a website, right, for a number of users, if we get too many, then I have too much hardware there available. And if I have too few, then my customers have to wait too long and they'll go to my competitors.
With the ability to add and remove capacity elastically, your application can scale up to meet your customers' needs and scale back down again quickly, saving you money. And while we could talk about provisioned I/O performance and durability statistics all day long, we often hear from customers that the biggest performance improvements come from their own team's ability to deliver innovative new features to market more quickly. With AWS, development teams are able to focus on adding differentiated value for their own customers rather than on the heavy lifting of racking and stacking servers.
See, these are racking, stacking servers. We don't have to worry about that. You see, do these get obsolete? Yeah. If I'm going to be doing it each time, I don't have to worry about buying new computers.
This helps drive innovation by making new ideas feasible that were once out of reach. Experimentation is fast and low risk, making it possible to try out new projects which would once have been constrained by cost or resources. Successful experiments can go into production quickly, and you won't have to live with the collateral damage or cost of those that didn't pan out. In today's interconnected world, it's possible for any company to have end users across the world. From our multiple geographic regions, AWS helps businesses serve their customers globally.
So look at this. What does this map show you?
Like a global interconnection board.
What does this map show you?
Where they house
Where they house what, James?
their storage centers.
Where they're basically, this is where their servers are. Are they in one location? If we housed it here at the university, where's our data center housed? Just here. What happens with a hurricane? Do we ever get hurricanes? Right? What happens? Does it ever go down? Does the power go down? Have you ever experienced power outage? Right? When we have power outage, when we're having something like this, notice they're going to have then servers throughout the world, and what else? My end users then can be in certain areas. And what you can do here, notice Do you see there where there's one right in the middle there? What does that look like? In the United States on the East Coast, what does that look like?
New York City.
Huh?
New York City.
New York, and then underneath New York, what does it look like maybe?
DC.
DC, Virginia, why there? Who's there in DC, Virginia? Government, right? Does the government then, do you think Amazon Web Service, Microsoft sells to the government? Yeah, basically then they have it. Do they need to have secure servers? Government, right? The Department of Defense, right? I don't want to be hacked again by the Russians, right? So all of this, then they make a special servers then, and there's special data centers basically for the government. Super secure that we can get.
Globally, without the need for expensive, time-consuming physical geographic expansion.
So what you can think about is theoretically, cloud computing is then less expensive or more expensive than traditional. Less expensive because we're doing economies of scale. Amazon is just not doing it for us. Google's not just doing it for us. Microsoft is not, but they're doing it for mass numbers. So in those mass numbers, I can start reducing my costs.
In a few clicks, you'll be up and running. Reinvent the way you interact with technology with Amazon Web Services.
So it's a commercial for that, but what you can see here is after you go to that link, if you go to this website here.
Hello, and welcome to this introductory course for Amazon Web Services.
I don't want
The
even.
purpose of this
Right.
course is to provide
What?
a high-level introduction to Amazon Web
Where is
Services
it? Is it YouTube
using
here?
oversimplification.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is an area in which you want to look at this slides here. What is web services? And what is cloud computing? When we think about it, cloud computing is on demand. So put it in your notes there, that on-demand delivery. What does it mean on-demand delivery? When a company wants something on the demand. Today, I'm having a project. Do you understand that? Today I have a project that we're going to start. For instance, when I have that project, I want so much capacity. And then if I want to grow, or let's say in Christmas time it's going to be up, during other times it's not. And notice what they say, compute power, database storage applications, IT resources through the cloud service platform, via the internet, and pay as you go. And then it goes through the cloud computing basics. So I want you to read through this, and then you can get an idea of how does cloud computing work, what are the advantages, right? We talked about it before of capital expense we're saving, benefits, economy of scale. We don't have to worry about my capacity. I can have increased speed, stop spending money on running and maintaining data centers, all that real estate, global, and then the types of cloud solutions, whether it's websites, backup, mobile, and their products. So I have it. Azure is the same way, giving similar types of services. Google's giving those services. Oracle's giving those services. IBM and so forth. Questions? So you can see one of the cloud services are websites. So I was just so excited, and we are so excited that Caitlin, right, is coming from where, Caitlin?
From Wix today.
Wix, and where do you live, Caitlin?
In New York.
In New York.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? First of all, I want to thank you very much. So excited that you were able to come and join us. Let's see if we can hook you up. That's my only concern. If I can't hook you up, well.
If not, I can always run it off of this machine.
Okay, great. So let's see.
Whichever is easier.
Do you want to help her, Alex, here, and we can just set her
Yeah,
up?
I can just pull up the presentation
Oh, you
from
can
my
pre-
Gmail.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. That's perfect. Perfect. Whenever you're ready, you jet out.
Okay.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, no, on this one.
Whichever, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it on this one. So you just need to go to my Gmail, or what do I need to do?
Just I'll log into my Gmail. And
Okay,
I'll
okay, so just log in.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and then I'll take notes here, and let me just write down Your name, Caitlin?
Yep.
C-A-I-T-I-N, and your last name?
It's Murphy.
Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y,
Yep.
from New York, NYC,
Yep.
NYC Wix. And this is, you're presenting, this is the academic program?
Yep.
And what do you want our students to do? You want them to go anywhere or just follow you?
So I'm going to do a short presentation and then I'm going to lead a demo so you guys can work on within the platform, and I'll show you kind of the basics and the fundamentals.
And then what it entails too?
Yep,
This whole
exactly.
program. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Google's getting extra secure.
Okay. So how are we doing? Okay. Tell me when you're ready. This
Okay.
way.
Yep.
Okay, you're good.
Set.
All set, you bet. Huh? Can we see it? Ryan, take this and make it so she can see your.
All right, you guys ready? Okay,
Yeah.
so.
First of all, thank you for
yes,
coming.
of course.
And if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I will. So, as Professor said, my name is Caitlin Murphy, joining you from Wix today. I'm based in New York. Previously, I worked for one of the big companies you were talking about, was at Google for many years, worked in advertising and media. So, you know, familiar with some of the topics. Learned a lot about AWS just now. But today what we're going to do is I'm just going to introduce you to Wix. It's for anyone who's not familiar, a free platform to design and create your own website. It's one of the largest used globally. We have about 150 million users worldwide.
150. Wow.
So really it's a great tool for you. I don't know if anyone here is thinking of starting a business, or it's a great tool to use for any projects you're working on here at the university, or what we talk to a lot of students about is the importance of thinking about creating an online portfolio and your resume. So when you do leave Miami, you'll be ready to set foot into the career world and really differentiate yourself beyond just a resume or LinkedIn profile.
Okay, let me just let you know that these students are working on projects.
Okay, great.
And their project, they're just starting on it, and they have a number of ideas. And in their project, and one of their requirements is to do a website and to do apps. So if you-
Okay, great.
So one of the things I wanted them to do is already start using.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll do that today. So we'll
Okay.
start using it. And as you're kind of thinking through your projects, depending on what you're working on, what you're creating, just know that Wix has a number of tools. I unfortunately won't be able to go through all of them today, but just want to call out a few. If you're working to create any sort of e-commerce, an online store, definitely encourage you to check out Wix stores. I'll show you where to find that today. A business that requires customers to book your service, we have Wix Bookings. If you're creating anything where photos or videos are a big part of how you're telling your story or communicating your brand, whatever it might be, tons of tools, so just take note and really explore the product on your own if you don't get to.
And what is Wix Promote?
Just in terms of.
It just says here Wix Promote.
Oh, sorry, Wix Promote. So Wix Promote, so think about if you are looking to connect with customers, we have a number of promotional tools, a lot of marketing tools, which I'll show you in the back end how to access. So like if you want to do any email marketing, social marketing, customer management, customer service, there's a way to do it. It's a very powerful platform. A lot of our users are small business owners that are running their entire business using Wix. All right. Okay, so just out of curiosity, would love to just hear from you kind of why you think either as a professional, a student, or a business, why it's important to have a website. Yeah.
Especially for like small businesses, when a customer can go to like a well-made website, it makes you look more professional and more trustworthy.
Yeah, absolutely, because you credibility, right? That you have a professional home for your business. What else?
I would say like in a global world, customers across in countries other than where the business is based, they're able to view the products and order them and everything.
Absolutely, right? It gives you a global footprint, so people can contact you, get access to your businesses globally. Anything else? Yeah.
As a student, you can use it to like create another dimension to your resume.
Yeah. Absolutely. Create another dimension. Really talk about yourself, your narrative, your experiences. So a lot of different reasons to consider developing a website, obviously for your school project, but also a number of other reasons. It'll set you apart. It'll also give you really a consolidated hub. So for your business and also for your own personal projects. So I'm sure a lot of you also use Instagram and YouTube and other media. It's a way to kind of centralize that, connect that, and really create a home and a hub. A couple of things to really emphasize. I would say these are the three most important things to think about as you're planning your website. No matter what the goal is of your site, you want to make sure you always have a clear message to your visitor or to your consumer. You want to make sure that there's a clear CTA. Does anyone know what CTA is? Okay, it stands for call to action, so used often in advertising, right? So we all know we have, as humans, about a 2 to 3 second attention span. So when you land on a website, you want to make sure it's clear to the visitor what you want them to do, whether that's book a reservation, download your resume, shop now. So really have a clear call to action as soon as they hit the page so they know what to do. The second, think about quality content, high quality images, videos, of course, any copy you write. Make sure it's clear and well, proofread. And then great design, which we'll talk about as we go through the demo. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few examples, both on the business side and then the portfolio side, just to give you a feel for what's possible. A little inspiration. So this is a website from a student in New York who used Wix to create her portfolio. Her name is Ivy Chen, and I'm actually just going to begin scrolling. So you can see how she's showcasing her work. She's both a fashion student and an illustrator, so she's combined both. And by using scrolling is telling her story and really infusing her own personality as well as showcasing her work. So still very professional, but unique. Okay. So this is another portfolio website. This is from a photographer, a professional photographer, works a lot in advertising and media. But what I want to call out here are a couple of best practices. He has a very clear navigation up at the top, so he's asking you to view his portfolio and to contact him for work. And then you can see he's doing a lot of interesting things with mobile phones and images, but it's important to remember that he probably had thousands of images, but he's really curated the best. So you want to think about showcasing always your best work, your best product. You don't have to include the kitchen sink when you're developing your website, okay? So just things to keep in mind. Okay, so we talked about making sure you have a clear call to action on your website. So just as you're working through your project, think about what your specific goal is and keep that in mind throughout the design and the development process, whether it's a website to sell products or services or to promote your business. Just be very clear and set your goals early on. It's a good best practice. And then begin to think about the type of content you might want to include, whether that's pages within your website or sections. These are a couple of examples. You might have a blog as part of your website, video, different multimedia. So just think about that ahead of time, kind of sketch out or outline the content that you want to include. Okay, and then the kind of the third piece in your planning process, think about what will define either your business or your own personal style and how you can bring that into your website, right? Not every website needs to look the same. I'll show you how to start with what we call templates in the Wix tool today, but it's really all about customizing those templates and the design to make it fit your brand, your business, your product, whatever the theme might be. So think about colors, fonts, images that speak to your particular project and the type of work that you want to do and what will be kind of the best look and feel. So for example, if you're a meditation teacher, you might want to use kind of cool and calm colors, you know, that will signal to your customers that that's what that experience is going to be like. Okay? Any questions? Just kind of things to think about through the planning process. Okay. I'm just show you two or three more examples. I'll show you this one portfolio site from a student, a music student, and kind of compared to Ivy Chen's, the first one we saw, which was a little bit more advanced. This is a very simple yet professional and effective website. So as soon as I land on this page, I know exactly what the student does and what he's about, his name, and there's a clear call to action as to what he wants me to do, which is to check out his portfolio, learn a little bit about him. You can see he uses a black and white theme, very simple yet professional images. So this is a 3-page website, but still very professional, and probably took him about an hour, maybe 2, depending on how much of his content he had prepared to create using Wix. Okay. So really, you guys should have no problem in just starting to create some easy websites. And then I'll show you a kind of a commerce example. This is a really fun artist that I like. He creates designs and sketches of celebrities on sandwiches. Who knew there was a niche for that? But I actually walked into a friend's house the other day in Brooklyn, and she had one of these on her wall. So he's doing quite well.
So he sells them as pictures?
Yeah, they're prints that you can purchase.
Wow.
So anyone you see here on any particular sandwich. Great gifts for the holidays. But anyway, this is an example I show because I think it's a very clean use of the Wix store tool. You can see it's very clear what you're meant to do as soon as you arrive. Shop through all of his different options, prints, pins, stickers. You can see you can search. So this is something you can easily do if you're selling merchandise or products with Wix. Okay. So just to recap, I think we covered most of the do's. One thing I wanted to call out is in terms of a best practice when you're developing your project website is to make sure you're thinking about how to optimize for your site for search engines. So SEO. Are you guys all familiar with SEO? What does it stand for? Yep, search engine optimization. So I'll show you in the tool how to prepare your site to make sure that it can be found on Google. And the other thing to make sure you're thinking about is optimizing your site for mobile. So I'll show you how to design and kind of go between the desktop experience and the mobile experience because as you know, most people will find your site on a mobile device. So you want to make sure the content fits within the mobile experience. Okay. And then just some other things to remember. You just want to also remember to keep your content fresh, right? So once your site is live, you don't want anything to get stale. You want to keep it updated. All right, any questions? I want to make sure we dive into the actual tool. Okay, so on your computers, feel free to follow along. You can head to wix.com. And then if anyone has a site, you can just account already, you can sign in, but most of you are probably new, so you just want to hit get started. Okay, and Wix just asks you to create an account using any email address you have, so you can enter that in, create a password once you hit sign up. The other option is, of course, you can sign in with your Facebook, or you can create an account using your Gmail, which is what I'll do today. Okay. Let me create a new one too,
So they're gonna create this, Caitlin, when they get a code, even when they do the academic, they're gonna do the exact same thing?
Oh yeah, so
So can they, so do you let me just ask you a question. So they can have like a free one with not your code, and then they can use
yeah,
your code? So
I'll explain a little bit more about that.
Okay.
So Wix, just creating a dummy account here.
Yeah.
So Wix is what we uses a freemium model. So when you create an account with Wix, you can begin creating sites for free. So now that you have an account, you can build as many free sites as you'd like. However, some of our users do choose to upgrade to what we call our premium accounts. And there are a couple different reasons typically why people will upgrade to a premium account. One is, I'll show an example, you might have seen it in the music student portfolio, is all of our free sites will have a banner up at the top that just says this site was created by Wix. So as long as you don't mind that, you can stay free. The second reason people usually switch to a premium account is if they want to use their own domain. So if they want to, instead of having a Wix site URL, which I'll show you an example of, and you want to say have CaitlinMurphy.com, people will upgrade, you have to upgrade to premium to have your own domain. And then if you're running a business and you want to transact and sell things and collect payments, that's another reason you'll want to upgrade to a premium business account.
So if you want like e-commerce, you need.
Right, right.
To collect any payments, and also for a domain name.
Yep, so those are some of the reasons, but the good news is I'll provide with you a coupon code at the end of the class, and that allows you to upgrade to a premium account for a year and try it out and see what you think and try out some of the other features. So that's up to you. Of course, you can stay, like I said, using the free account, and there's a lot you can create, and that might be totally fine for your projects. So I'll show that, at the end of class so you have it, but that's just kind of the model and how that works. Any questions about that? Okay, great. All right, so hopefully you all logged in. Wix will welcome you, so you'll just click let's do it. And then it'll ask you a series of questions, kind of what you want to create the site for, who you want to create the site for. In this case, I'll click myself. And then.
And what does it mean I want to create a site for myself?
So just kind of starting to get a sense for what you want to do, so that way it can kind of guide you through some initial steps.
Okay.
And in this case, it should be, I'll just choose a music site for today's purposes. You can choose whatever you're looking to do for your project. And I'll just say I've never done this before. Okay. All right, so now you should see on your screen kind of a split screen. So there are two options that Wix provides you. So you can either choose option one, which is what we call ADI option. And if you think about Wix as being a shortcut to creating a website or an easy way to do so, ADI is the shortcut for the shortcut. And with ADI, Wix will just ask you a series of questions. You'll, kind of about what site you want to create, what kind of business, whatnot, and then it'll spit out a website in a matter of seconds. However, we recommend for students to really start with the other option, which is to start with a template. And it just gives you more freedom to create, use a lot more features, and really learn the platform in what we call the Wix editor. So choose a template. Okay, so once you click that, Wix will bring you to what we call like the template library, and essentially here's where you can browse hundreds of beautifully designed templates.
That's one of the things I loved about Wix is the design is done so well.
Exactly. We have a whole staff of designers who are really talented, and they create all of these for you. And you can see in a number of different categories. So if you're running an online store, any type of store. If you're a photographer, you can create a website to showcase your work. So no matter what industry you're in, you should find a really great template to start from. So I think I said maybe music is what I'm planning to do today. You guys can choose whichever you'd like to browse for the purposes of class. And as I'm scrolling through this particular set of site templates, you can see when I hover over each one, it's giving you two options, one to edit and one to view. So when you click view, it'll actually show you the template and the website in its fully functioning state. So you can really browse and see like, okay, is this, have everything I need or a good starting point, knowing that you'll be able to still customize it, but you'll want to browse and see what it looks like. And then you'll see up here on the top left, there's the option to also browse the template in the mobile state or the mobile version. So you can see what it looks like on your mobile device. Okay? And then once you decide this is the template I want to work with today, you can click Edit This Site. And it'll bring you into the Wix editor. So this is the workspace that you'll be using to design and to create all of your elements for your website. Okay. I'm just gonna close a few of these to see. All right, so once you're in the editor and you begin clicking around, you'll see that every element on the page, so whether it's a photo or a text, can easily be manipulated, changed in size, you can delete elements, and above each element, you'll see here where my mouse is, what we call the floating menu, and this is where you can customize any element. So this might change depending on what element it is. So in this case, if you wanted to add a filter to the image, you can do that from the menu. If you wanted to change the shape, maybe make it a rounded photo. So really begin to play around and see what the options are. But it should be, really easy to just start diving in. If you double click on the text, you can of course change the font size, the color, open up the color palette. Hopefully very intuitive to you guys working in other software. And of course we have hundreds of different fonts to choose from. You can also import your own. So if there's something you have that you want to include, a font that you like, you can bring that into Wix as well. A couple of things to note here up at the top. As you're designing, if you want to switch from page to page in your template, you just can click up here to switch page, and now say you want to edit the About page, that's how you want to navigate, as opposed to what you're seeing here where my mouse is. That's just the navigation that will be used by the user, and that's really just editable text at this stage. Okay, and again, switching to mobile, you'll see the two icons. So when you switch to the mobile editor, you want to make sure that as you're designing, since it's a smaller space, that elements have plenty of room to breathe, that there's no overlap. That can occur when you're just designing mostly in desktop. And just note that say if you delete an element in mobile, so say we don't want this photo in the mobile version, when you go back to desktop, that image will still be there, okay? So good best practice to kind of toggle between the two.
So it doesn't update automatically.
Right, exactly. So you just want to be checking both as you're designing. Of course, when you want to remember to hit save in the top right to save your work. And here's where you'll see the free Wix.com domain you can give your site. So it'll be your email address, .wixsite.com, and then you can name your site. And then if you do decide, you know what, I want to use my own domain, you can begin the process of giving it a domain here. Okay. So we'll just save this to continue. Okay. And then up here on the top right, you'll see an icon for preview. And this just gives you the opportunity to see the site in its fully functioning format, so you can make sure it's looking great. And then hit the green button to go back to editor. And then the final option here is, of course, to publish. When you're ready to set your site live, you can hit publish. You can also always unpublish, so you have that option. We'll click done. We'll publish this site. There we go. Done. View my site. And here's what I was talking about earlier. That banner for any free site will be up at the top. So, like I said, it's common practice, but just take note of that. And of course, if you want to.
So if you wanted to do it professionally, you wouldn't want that necessarily on the top.
Yeah, I mean, some people do. If it bothers you, you can of course use the coupon code to upgrade to premium. Okay. All right. So a few other things. The grid lines that you see up at the top of your screen indicate the header. So anything within the header, just like on a Word document, will travel with you from page to page. So of course the menu you'll see will be on the About page as well, because it's in the header. And the same for the footer. So you'll see a dotted line. So that's guidelines for you there. And then you'll see on your screen, so you'll notice your Dell desktop screens are wider than the laptop that I'm presenting from. So it's important to pay attention to the vertical grid lines that you're seeing in the editor, because those grid lines indicate a smaller screen resolution, about a 980 pixel width, I believe. So for people like in this instance who are on a smaller screen resolution, you want to make sure that all the most important elements, copy, content, are within those vertical grid lines. So no matter what size screen they're on, they're going to see the important information. Anything else that's maybe just a little bit more design or not as important, you can put on the outside, but important best practice to keep everything within the grid lines. Okay. All right, so we'll go back to the home page. And now I'll walk you through this left panel. So this is where you're going to be able to do most of your editing, starting with menus and pages. So if you click that, you'll see your site menu. So all of the pages that were included within your template will be viewable here. And here's where you can begin to reorder your pages. And you see when I move this EPK page up, it'll automatically change the order in the navigation bar. Say I no longer wanted that page, I could click the three-dot menu and click delete. And now that's no longer part of your navigation. A good best practice, if you do have multiple pages, you might want to think about creating sub-pages in your menu. And it's really easy to do that. All you have to do, for example, if you wanted to move music and tour in this website under the About page, you can click music, drag it to the right, and you'll see it will indent under About. We'll do the same for tour, click, drag, and move to the right. And now when we hit preview, under About now has two sub-pages. So think about doing that as you're creating your site map and how to organize your pages. Okay. And then of course you can also, like I said, add a page. This is really where you manage your whole flow of your site. Okay, so we'll go back to the home page. I'm actually going to delete these elements because I want to talk to you a little bit about background. So that's the second panel you'll see here. And with background, you have three options. So the first is, of course, you can have any color as your background. Right now we just have white. Of course, you could change it to anything from the palette. But what's more interesting is the second option, which is to add an image as your background. So when you click image, this is important to note. It'll bring up what we call the Wix Media Manager. And you can either choose to upload your own media by clicking on the blue button, and you'll see you can access all of your different services and upload your own content. Or, which is what I think is one of the most amazing features about Wix, you can access the Free from Wix gallery. And here are thousands of professional photos, copyright free, that are available to you to use. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I have no images or content, I'm not a creative person, use the gallery and your site will have immediately a professional look and feel. All right, and so say we wanted to create more of a wintry feel to our website, we can choose this image, and all of a sudden, your site looks totally different from where you started with the template. Okay? All right, so let's look at the third option, video. So think about, as you're creating your designs, ways you can add motion. I think it's a nice element to, again, capture your visitor's attention. You can do that with video. You can also do that with animation, but just something to think about. And of course, you can upload your own videos or check out the free from Wix gallery. So let us get out of winter and we'll head to the beach. So you notice I've added the video background, but it's still static in this state. So you want to hit preview, and now you can see the waves rolling in. Okay, and that creates like a beautiful effect, I think. And you can change, I'll show you. So once you've added it, you go back to your background panel and click settings. Here's where you can do more. You can overlay a pattern over it. You can overlay a color. So say you wanted to have more of a pink hue to it. And then of course change the speed or the looping of the video. So again, anytime you're choosing to work with a new element, check out what settings are available to you. Really kind of go into the menu options and see how creative you can get. All right, so for the purposes, I'll just go back to white so you can see the demo. Any questions on backgrounds? Okay, pretty straightforward. So the next panel is where you're really going to spend a lot of your time creating, because this is our add panel. And here's where you can, of course, add any additional text to your website, images. You can add a gallery. So a gallery is a really great professional way to showcase not only images, but video or even text. So if you want to showcase a work or a product or a project and you have maybe an image, and you want to write up a short summary, use a gallery to allow users to kind of flip through to different projects. So with a gallery, also with a video player, if you add that as well to your website, there's always going to be two options in the floating menu. The first is manage media or manage your content, and this is where you can substitute out, of course, the stock images that are here. So you can begin to delete them. You can drag and drop to reorder the images or media in your gallery. And of course, you can add media. You can add images, use the free from Wix gallery. Important to note about video. So I don't know if any of you are YouTubers, have a YouTube channel, or use Vimeo. You can use any of the media that you have on different services to bring and embed into your gallery or into your website. That's all available to you. Okay, and then of course you can add a title, description, a URL to link out on that. So definitely play around with galleries. And then of course, once you have your content in the gallery, if you hit settings, here's where you can really change the layout, make it more asymmetrical. You could do a vertical slider. So a lot of different options. We talked a little bit about call to action. So one great tool to use when you want to get a user's or visitor's attention is to use buttons throughout your site. You'll see maybe in some of the templates that you chose, they're already there. But if you scroll down, there's a number of different button options, different designs, and you can see some of the call to actions that are commonly used. So for example, we'll use this shop button. So if you're creating an e-commerce site, you might want to have this in the top fold. And you'll see here, I'll make it a little bit bigger just so we can see. You can, of course, change the design. You can customize it even further. But what I want to call out to you is a good best practice to note for any button, there are typically two states. The first is regular and the second is hover. And what that allows you to do is to, when a user mouses over that button, change the state so it catches their eye, and they know to click on that button and take action on what you want them to take action on. So in the regular state, it's a shade of red, so we'll keep it red. But in the hover, they just, for this particular one, it's just a darker shade of red. So why don't we go ahead and change that to green? We'll also go ahead, go back, and change the font size, make it a little bit bigger, there we go. All right, so this is now a huge button, but just for the purposes of the demo, when we hit preview, and my mouse scrolls over it, it's now changing color. So it's really gonna like get people's attention, and you, of course, once you click, you can direct them to another page within your website, your shopping cart. I'll show you how to do that. So once you click on it, you'll see this link button up at the top, and that's where you can link it to a number of different pages within your own website. You can also link it out to another website. If anyone wants to make their resume available on their portfolio, you can also link it out to a document. So you could create a PDF, and people could download your resume right from your website. Okay. So that's buttons. So a lot of things here, like I said, I won't get through all of them today, but just highlighting a few things, a few best practices. Anyone familiar with vector art? Does anyone know how it's different from other image files? Oh, right here, sorry.
Yeah, it's scalable.
Yeah, it's scalable. So if you take a look at the vector art option, it's a really good way to add if you want to create a logo for your project or for your brand. There's a lot of fun images that you can choose. And so we'll choose one here. We're still celebrating Valentine's, apparently. We'll choose this happy couple. But when you add the vector, as was stated, when you make it larger or smaller, it retains its quality and its size and its shape. So it's a really good thing to think about to use. And what's great about it is you can also change the design. So you click design, you can fill these colors in to match your own theme or your brand's theme. So in this case, if you wanted to change his hair color, just choose the dark brown and now replace it with yellow. And everything will then change to yellow. So think about this if you want to, like I said, create a logo for your page or just a really fun icon. I think it just adds a professional look and feel. Maybe not this particular vector, but so you can really change the colors to match your theme. Okay. If you're interested in featuring any of your other social links, you'll want to make sure you check out the social option down here. And especially if you're a business, your business probably has a presence right on Instagram, YouTube, wherever it makes sense, you can add the social bar. This template already came with one, so we have a duplicate. But you can add the social bar, you can put it in the header or the footer or somewhere else on the page. But just remember to set those social links or else they'll default to everything Wix. And it's easy to do that. So if you wanted to update the Facebook link, select Facebook, and you just put in your own Facebook page. And of course, like Google Plus, I believe is being sunsetted, so we can delete that one. You can move this around, and you can also replace the icon with any look and feel. We have a whole gallery of different icons. So like I said, best practice, connect your social links, make sure your sites are talking to one another. All right, so and then the last thing I just want to call out as another good best practice is to make sure you have a way for people to contact you or your business. Okay, so contact, when you select this category, you'll see a number of different forms you can add and customize to your site. Everything if you from wanting to collect testimonials from customers to collecting support requests. If you're offering a job, anything you can imagine, or you can just simply add a custom contact form, and these are all editable so you can change the fields, but it's an important best practice that people can actually get in touch with you, right? That's the point of having a website, so you can be connected. So you can, of course, edit this field, you can change the layout, but just poke around in the contact section. I think it's an important one, particularly for your project, I would imagine. All right, so that's the ad panel, lots of different elements. I want to make sure we cover the next one, which is the apps panel. So very similar to how you interact with like the Android market or your Apple iTunes store. The app panel not only offers our Wix apps, but also third-party apps. So if you can't seem to find anything in the Wix categories, you can always add a third-party app. So a popular one, of course, is the Instagram feed. So you could always add your Instagram feed to your website. It's a great way to keep your website fresh, because as soon as you update your Instagram, it'll be updated on the gallery.
So are these free, these apps?
So just like when you download a mobile app, you have to pay attention to the description. So for Instagram, that's a free one. But within the market, you can see, so here the SoundCloud app is free.
So they'll tell whether
It'll
it's
tell
for
you,
right?
and then some might have like free for a month, and then they might ask
Right.
you to,
Okay,
so
good.
just be careful of the third-party apps. For anyone who's running a business, you want to head to the app panel, look for store, and you'll see Wix stores, and this is what you can add to your site. Just click add. It'll take a minute. And it'll automatically add a storefront as well as a back end for you to begin to manage your product, both your digital products or your physical products.
So if you were gonna do some type of digital, you can do the digital as well as
Yep, we
actual.
also, yep, exactly. We also have a Wix art store, so if you were selling just a digital print, you could do that. You could also have that printed on merchandise. It's a cool feature. So once you add the store, you can see it already creates a members account, a shopping cart, so all that's automatically added. And you'll see when you click on the element, the store element, it'll bring up the option to manage products. So if you click on that, this will bring you to what we call the Wix dashboard, which is essentially like the back office to your website. And here's where you can begin to add new products and of course customize the stock placements. In this case, the first one is a shoe. So if you were to click that, you can easily begin to switch out the images, add the product info, so it'll guide you step by step as to what information you should be thinking about. Of course, the price, and you kind of can go through the different options. You can indicate which items you might want to put on sale. So very powerful tool, all available to you through the Wix store. Okay. So check out the app panel, a lot of different options for you to explore. All right. I know we have a few more minutes left, so I just want to make sure I show you. So if you're following along, if you go up to settings, a number of different options for you to explore, but I want you to click on my dashboard. And this is another way to get to that same back office. When you click on dashboard, you'll see your site. And here's where you can go back to edit, duplicate, whatnot. And on the left, here's where you'll be able to manage your store products. And then here's where you have all of your marketing options. So you can begin to create a customer list. So you can import your contacts to connect with them. If you go back to the main menu, you can also access marketing tools. So here's where you can find the SEO wizard. So when you're ready to publish your website, you want to make sure.
So how did you get to there?
So let me go back. So within the main menu, under marketing tools, and then get found on Google.
Okay, get found on Google. That'll be important for the project.
Yes, make sure you definitely use the get found on Google option. And when you click start now, it'll walk you through a couple of questions and begin to walk you through the steps you need to make sure you have the right signals for SEO. And then these are some other fun options if you're looking to promote your business or an event. You can create email marketing. And just like the website editor, you can customize from a series of templates that are available to you. And you can begin to write your email to send to your customers. There's social options, even a video maker. Okay?
And a video maker is what?
You can create like a custom video to send out to your customers.
And it goes step by step from your
Yeah.
creator?
Exactly. And again, always, using templates, providing you with very professional looking ways to create a video story or promote your business. That's a relatively new feature.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure, so going back to the presentation, I want to make sure you all take a picture, write this down in your notebook.
Take a picture of this. These are
There's a
the
bunch of
codes.
screens. But this is the code, just a coupon code like you would use on any other website, that you can, if you decide you want to upgrade and choose the premium, you can use this code. Yep.
Is this like from like a year today? From today
So
or
the
is it
code
year
will
to-
expire at the end of the year, so you just want to make sure you
At the end of the year when they, so it'll do it at the end of March next year or the end of the year of
So end of the year, December 31st, 2019, you want to make sure that you use the code. So you can use the code December 1 and then have the year plan start then, or you could use the code today and have the year plan go through March 2020. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, and how many, they have to do a project here.
Mm-hmm.
How many, can they do more than one site using this code or only one site?
This code is just for one site. So choose
Okay,
the
so-
one site.
So if they can do
One
it for this project, they can use it for this project.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll show you how to upgrade and put in the code.
But later on, they could do it, let's say they did for this project and they wanted to edit the site, then they,
Yeah.
after this class, then they could then edit that for
Yep, they
their
can
own.
always edit the site for the project to transform into their portfolio website.
Right, later on, so
Yep.
basically, once you do that, they're not stuck with that site, they can make modifications,
Yep.
which is nice too.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about, Ohad was telling me that you're gonna do some type of certificate program?
Yep, exactly. So if anyone is interested, we offer what we call a Wix Basic certificate. And so once you complete your site, whether it's for your project or a personal website, you can submit your site to us and we will review it. And we'll be looking for a certain set of requirements, and I can send this to you, so you
Okay.
can send this as a follow-up, since there's a lot of text. But just making sure that there's solid navigation, quality design work, that there's connection to social media, it's optimized for mobile, so all the best practices I talked about.
So this'll be, this page, or you'll be sending me something?
I'll send you this, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so you can share the requirements.
Okay, yeah, we have a question, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, which website does this give us access to? Like the combo, the unlimited
Yep, so let
Pro
me
or
show
VIP?
you.
Yeah, go back and,
So when you're ready to upgrade, when you click the purple button, you'll see that throughout the dashboard.
Yeah.
You want to choose, if you can choose any of the premium packages. So you can choose one of the website packages, which you see here. You can choose business and e-commerce. And once you select that, you just want to make sure that you choose the yearly option. Okay?
everybody put note there, when you're gonna upgrade, make sure that it's yearly.
Yep. And then when you hit select, you will have to put a credit card in, that's just the default. But let me just go back to the code and copy.
So you would then put in your code
Yeah.
at that point.
I'll show you the way to do that. Okay. Scroll over here. So you'll see here, they're running a promotion, so let me just remove that, and hard to see where there we go, all right. So once you enter the promo code, so this business unlimited plan would be $360. When you hit apply the code, it'll go down to 0. Okay.
Now, can they switch? Can I be in one type, let's say, website, and then I wanna switch over to e-commerce, or I have to decide ahead of time?
Yeah, you definitely have to decide ahead of time, so really be thoughtful about, like, okay, which site do you wanna upgrade, what's the goal, what will be the plan that'll, be most useful for your site, yep.
And will it auto renew? Like if we forget to like cancel it?
I believe there's an option in your account settings to turn off the auto renew, but I always encourage students to put a reminder on your calendar when you do it, so you know it's coming up. I always get auto renewed myself for Amazon or whatever it is. So just do that, but definitely explore the settings. I'm pretty sure there's an option to change that as well. Okay?
So start up, whenever they do, they can start up, and can you go back to the plans?
Oh, sure.
So in this case, for the website, the VIP is the most extensive?
Yep, I believe that's the most expensive.
Right, and
You
what
see,
do-
we're running a promotion right now, so some of them
Okay.
are more discounted, and you'll see down here what it gives you.
Okay,
Okay, so read through each option before you commit and see if that meets your needs.
so in this case, in the website, it doesn't hurt to get the most expensive in terms of that, in which you get the most features.
Exactly.
Even if you're not gonna use all
Yep,
of them.
yep, the promo code can be applied to all of them.
But you can't switch plans.
Right.
So my suggestion is try to do the most up-to-date, the most expensive one. You don't have to use all of them.
Yeah.
Either on, and that's it. And what can you do? Can you do everything in the e-commerce and include everything in the website?
So they'll each have some different options. A lot of them are similar. Like some will have 5 hours of video, the next one will have 10.
And what does that mean, 5 hours of video?
Just the option to have that much video content streamed on the website.
Okay.
Um,
So that would be interesting for your project when you're talking about the video, getting the maximum amount of video that you're starting with. Well, this is great. Everybody has a picture of this? This is the main thing. Well, we don't want you to be late for your
I
flight.
know, sorry, normally I would stay after
Yeah,
for more
right.
questions. but I
Any
do have
other
flights
comment or
ahead.
something? How can they get in touch or get technical
Oh,
support?
yes, so, if you go to Google and just type Wix Help, the Help Center will come up, and it'll show you,
And then they get premium help?
so hopefully every question they have can be answered with resources that are already available. There's video tutorials, you can just type in your question, and then there's also a customer service number.
And the customer service, by them being premium members, did they get higher up?
I think it's all, yeah, but our customer service team, they're are based right here in Miami, so they'll be able to help you. But definitely use this resource first, because there's so much content here that should be able to answer most of your questions. Alright,
Any other comment, question?
and I'll leave, my email
Yeah, can you do that?
is CaitlinM@Wix.com.
You wanna take a picture of that too?
So, any questions?
Everybody take a picture of this so we can contact.
Or you're looking for feedback or whatnot,
Wonderful. Well, I wanna thank you, Kate, for
Yeah.
coming down from, NYC for us. Thank
Happy
you.
to.
Hey, you're such a great office. You couldn't get better than that. You know
No.
what I mean? And we'll, hopefully, maybe we can do some more in the future.
Oh,
while we-
absolutely, I know this was a short session, so always happy to come back and.
We'd love to have you.
do more
Anytime you're
workshops.
planning to come back to Miami, let us know, and we'll, be happy to host you in more of a, in a timeframe.
Yes, would love
Great.
that. All right,
Thank you
good luck
so
to you
much.
guys.
Thank you. Have a safe
Thank you.
flight. You have all your stuff. Thank you. Great. So. Thank you so much. Questions? So basically, in terms of getting a certificate, they need, Caitlin, they'll be able to do one website, right? And then you'll send me information on what they need to do for the certificate?
Yep, exactly.
If you can
Send you the
be so
website.
kind, give me all the requirements, so next week we can go over what the certificate entails. That way, all your specifics, they can make sure they can include it in their project, and they'll get certified from it. Okay, thank you so much again. Have a safe flight. Perfect. So what do you think? I mean, how can we get it? I mean, this is great. And what I want them to do is to incorporate, they want to even bring more lectures here about retailing, about marketing. They want to make it more in depth, and rather than just how do you use Wix, but more in depth. Especially what I want to bring them down again for is more in depth in terms of the SEO, search engine optimization, how you can use it. So I'm going to get from them their their certificates. So what I suggest maybe we do for next week is, one is I would even try out in the beginning, try out their free version as like a sample. You know what I'm saying? Once we get more familiar with it, then go the following week of using their premium version. You understand what I'm saying? And then what I'd like you to do is research a domain name that fits your project. That would really be nice. And then when you have that domain name, it's professional, and then we can start looking at the SEO. So let's do this for next week. The assignment is for every group, set up a website. And what I'd even like you to do is for each person, you can work together in group, but each person even doing a website, a sample website, put in, and let me just put this to you, let me go back to, are we here? Let me go back to our Blackboard. Let me go to our audit area. Go to course documents. I'm in the wrong one, right? Nobody gets extra credit because you can see I made a mistake. Okay, I want to go audit XY. I want to go to course documents. And let's say I even go to the first group of group 1. And in group 1, when I go to your project, under your project, what I would do is I would put, even back here, change it to business proposal, change it to business project, and right under here, put your URL. So quickly, we can go and you can see everybody's URL. You can get your first one where it will say Wix, your name and Wix and the name of your sites. Put that there. We can review it, and then the following week, you can start finding what is a good domain name, and look at what I would suggest you do is get the premium, get the top dollar amount. Take advantage of it. And then I'll share with you when they send it to me, I'll share with you what are their requirements to get a certificate. Why not take advantage of the certificate? And then find out what you need to be getting their certificate. Questions? And then we have, what else do we have for homework? The quiz for the next chapter. And let me just go back and show you what, those of you that have more time later and that you have, let me go back. Any questions? I just think it's just so awesome that we get this availability for you. Let me go to our regular site. I cannot believe it. Next week is April. And the last week in April, we have a presentation.
Yeah.
So it's like blink and we're at the end with you. So I want to do assignments, just so you know what we'll cover. We're going to cover the AI from the tech guide. Then we'll cover chapter 10 and chapter 13. So we have, up to now, we'll have 3 more chapters. So you can put that in your notes for the new chapters then will be business intelligence, the tech 3, tech 4, 10, and 13. Yes.
Is our final exam in this room or the classroom?
It'll be this. I think it'll be easier.
We're here the rest of
The rest of the semester, I think we'll be here. It's just easy. We have enough room. Then we can spend time afterwards. In part of the, I'd like to work with groups at the a last hour with you, getting this improved, that we get the best possible projects. I have no problem giving everyone an A if it's deserved for your project. It doesn't need to be, with the exams and so forth, there's curves. With the project, if you do an outstanding job in your projects, I have no problem with that. If you do a mediocre job in your projects, I have no problem grading you on that as well. On both ends. But what I think is, this is something that you can take away with. And that's why I wanted your project to really be focused on something that is meaningful for you, rather than, I'm never going to compete with them. I'm not going to be a cloud computing company, or doing something that already exists. Questions? So let's do this. I'll stay with you tonight for all the groups that are making changes, that need my help, and I'll stay as long as you need to for that. Okay? And then we have it, and then we're, yeah.
Is that final presentation, you will have to make a PowerPoint or something?
Yeah, it'd be good. You can make a PowerPoint. What I suggest in your final presentation, it's a PowerPoint or any other type of make a PowerPoint, and within the PowerPoint, you can then go to the different websites. You can go to their app. Let me make another point here before you leave. The other thing, if you're looking for next week as well, what I want you to do is find app development software for non-programmers that are free. Everybody hear what I say? There's a lot of ones. There's AppyPie, there's a number. Because what Wix will do, Wix will modify it so when you're viewing the website, it will be mobile ready, but it's not an app. So there's a number of sites there. What I'd like you to do already for your group is look for app development software that you can develop the overview of the website. It won't necessarily be the back end. A prototype that you can use, that you can show already. This is what our app's going to look like. So it's part of that. So in your PowerPoint, you can have, this is basically the PowerPoint can be those questions we had on our business proposal, right? That if I looked at our business proposal, what's the problem? What am I sending to? And then you can then have links to your websites and also links to your apps. And if you're in a group, then certain people were going to focus on certain parts of your application. You can set that up as well. Because I can't believe it. It's ready. After the spring break, it's already like almost the end here. So but I want to use that week. Everyone will be doing this. We'll be doing it in the class. And then you can tell me also, you can give me that way. Once I'm recording now, I'm recording myself. If you want your presentation to be recorded, you can let me know. If you don't want your presentation to be recorded, you have that option. Right? So this is part of it. But in terms of my classes, I'm recording for you folks, right? When you're doing presentations, you have those rights then to say, you know what, let me know ahead of time, say, we want to be recorded. I don't want to be, recorded for those purposes. Yes?
So for next week, you have to create,
I want you, for next week, I want you to give the first version of your website. And what I suggest you do is use the free one right now just to get familiar with it. Once you do the free one, then we can transfer to upgrade, and I'd upgrade to the premium. And to find the app, the app designer, and maybe someone in your group can even do that. Are we clear then for next week? And I'm looking forward to, stay with me if you need to. Okay?